Salutations all, and welcome back to another kitchen adventure. Please forgive us for our absence. There's really no excuse. We've been doing a lot of cooking. We should have been posting it all for you just so you have a little bit of something to get you over through these holiday times. Speaking of holidays, we just finished up Thanksgiving here in the States. Our bellies are still full, but we've got to get ready for the next one. That's Christmas, Kwanzaa, Festivus, Yuletide, whatever it is that you call it. Hopefully yours is going to be a great one. Enjoy yourself out there. Get something good to eat. And that's what we're here to do, right? I've got a lot of people asking for non-traditional, if you will. Now, tradition is going to be based on where you're from, obviously. But here in Texas, I've got quite a few people asking for pasta. Something simple, something easy. So today, we're going to do just that. We're going to make some lasagnas. I just wanted to show you guys kind of the process that we go through. This is going to be a little different than the average video. Less of me trying to instruct you how to cook ground beef. You know how to do that. Right? Do you know how to do that? Do all of you know how to? I've got some young ones. I'm just asking for my nieces and nephews. I want you to survive. All right. So, wait. Let me not get ahead. Take a second. If you really want to impress your guest, pause this. Wait. Here are all the instructions. Pause this video and then go and check out this video or this video or wherever on the screen it gets put. Go check out one of our old videos. It's archaic. The production value was really low. We were on a shoestring budget. You got to understand these actors. Anyway, the point is, we did a video about pasta. You can make your own pasta sheets, flavor them however you want, and really make this lasagna something special to remember for the holidays. We'll wait. All right, now that you got your pasta ready, look down in the comments there. I'm going to give you the entire ingredient listing. I'll try to scale this one down for you guys because we're doing massive amounts right now. Yeah, let's get into it. Right, so let's start off with a good-sized mixing bowl if you've got one. I've got a few. I'm not a hoarder. And we're going to go in with some ricotta. I don't know why I do my hands like that. I do it when I am on the Rosetta Stone Italian lessons. It just feels right. All right. Now that's a whole milk ricotta, or ricotta, however Mario Batali says it. You could do a skim, if you're trying to watch your shape or whatever the reasons you would want to use a skim instead of a whole milk. I want all the fat that I can get, right? Doesn't really matter what brand. That's going to be a personal choice. For this one, we're just going with bulk size that I could get at my local bulk size store. And what we're going to do is season this up really, really well. A lasagna is definitely a layered food, and we want all of our layers to be delicious. So I'm going to go in with my trinity, if you will. A little salt, a little pepper. Garlic is always used in this household. But for this to elevate it just a little bit as well, as you'll see, I'm going to go in with a little black truffle oil too. And that's just to add a nice floral flavor undertone to it, because as you'll see moving forward, we're also going to add some mushrooms to that for that nice earthy tone. Okay, so also, just because I like the herbage, the color, just a little bit of flavor as well, a little fresh chopped parsley. You can definitely go in with dried herbs all the way through if you like. Just remember that dried herbs you're going to use less, and you're going to want to give it a little bit of time to bloom or to really rehydrate. So if you're going to use dried herbs in a ricotta mix, I would definitely do that early and set it aside and then go back and taste it. So we're not going to throw the parsley away. We'll be doing some soup here pretty soon, so we'll get those posted for you guys as well. We don't want to waste. Going to give our parsley a simple rough chop. I want you to really be able to see it, and I don't want it to bleed out color too much and start turning my ricotta mixture green. Though I guess we could do like a red, white, and green situation for lasagna. Is that okay? You guys feel alright about that? Let me know in the comments. Alright, we'll get this bad boy cleared up, thrown into our bowl. I just found out why my camera does that roll thing. Yeah, I'm learning. I watch YouTube too. I've been looking at tutorials, so hopefully I can get that fixed. Really trying to figure out lighting in this little space of mine. Alright, so got some grated Parmesan. You can definitely use a shredded Parmesan. It's going to give you that nice extra Instagrammable cheese pull layer to your lasagna. I just prefer to go with the grated. It's just a personal thing. There's going to be so much cheese in this bad boy. I definitely don't think I can handle the extra shredded Parmesan. Also remember when you're seasoning this up, if you're using that Parmesan cheese, it's going to add a little bit of a salt content to it as well, right? So it's going to add a little salt to your mixture. And we're just going to get it as well incorporated as we can. And then once you've got it all mixed in really, really nicely, of course, we're always going to taste our food as we go along so that we don't overdo it or underdo it and get disinvited to the next cookout. I'm taking my time there because I'm actually looking at making sure that I'm spreading that seasoning out and I don't end up with really ugly pockets of seasoning overload, if you will. It's also pretty still cold, pretty still cold. The grammar, I tell you. The ricotta is actually still pretty cold too, so it's a little bit stiff. So I'm trying to slowly work it, soften it up, and get it folded over nicely. Once you give it a taste, if you're satisfied with it, then you can jump to the next step. If you're not, this is the great opportunity to go ahead and re-up on those seasonings wherever you see fit. That's why it's hard to give you a straightforward recipe on this, because it's really going to be about what you want. That's why I always view recipes more as a guideline, with the exception of when we are doing pastries, because you have to follow the rules in that game. We're garlic lovers in this house, so I definitely had to go back with a little bit more. So again, it's up to you. Taste as you go. What I'm adding there is a little white pepper. That's a little preference of mine. If you don't know the flavor profile of white pepper, you should definitely check it out. It's nice, it's floral, it's light, it's spicy, I guess you could kind of say in a weird way. Alright, so once we get those flavors where we wanted them, I'm going to add a couple of eggs. I add 2 to 3 eggs depending on how much cheese that I'm using. The reason that I do that is I want that protein to help set up that ricotta layer, that layer of cheese. So depending on how much you put into that layer, of course, once it's baked in, that's where you get that really sexy, made-for-TV looking lasagna with those nice, distinguishable layers. And there are several ways that we do that, but we'll get to that here in a minute. Alright, so, now we're going to jump into our yellow onion. Just really want that flavor for obvious reasons. Onions are delicious. Onions. And you can really dice this however you like. If you go for a more rustic feel, you can definitely go with a larger dice. We're just going to do a semi-small dice here because there's no chef standing behind us with a ruler. Just because you chopped it small doesn't make it more expensive. I always wear a glove when I'm chopping onions. I've had people ask me why I'm 50-50 on my gloves. I'm very weird about things on my skin, and onion is one of those smells that is difficult to get out at times, and you definitely don't want to ruin an intimate moment with onion paws. So, anywho, alright, so what I've got are some baby portobello mushrooms. These are going to add some flavor, but they're also used kind of as a filler, if you will, just something to bolster up or bulk up my beef. So if you were wanting to, I don't know, shave a few cents off of your cost, you would find something like that. You know, maybe a nice sized button mushroom, and use a lot more of that. It's obviously going to be cheaper than what beef is, but mushrooms also have that nice meaty texture to them. They add some bite to a meal as well as the flavor. So that is what we're doing here. Remember to keep those fingers tucked if you want to keep them. Funny thing about those mushrooms, you should definitely look into baby portobellos, porcinis, button mushrooms. See what they may or may not have in common if you're nerdy and have some time on your hands. But anywho, while we're at it and have a little bit of time, what's a traditional Christmas meal where you live? Let me know in the comments. Alright, now that we've got our veggies or something done, it's time for the meat. Oh yeah, don't be afraid. We'll be gentle. We will. Alright, we're going to skip past the 1980s fast forward of me cooking ground beef over and over again, mostly because I don't know how to do that yet. Alright, before you judge me, okay, yes, we can make marinara. If you want to know how we make the marinara, we will definitely do a video for you guys. Let me know in the comments. Show you my easy crock pot marinara. But for this particular project, I'm going with the brand that I know and I trust. Alright? And then we're just going to dress it up real nice. Now, I like to add, what I'm adding there is actually crushed tomatoes. Normally I add a nice chunky diced tomato just to add that nice texture, right, to our lasagna. Also helps take up a little bit of space, you know what I'm saying? No? Alright. Anywho, so what I've got right there is we took some of the drippings from the ground beef. The ground beef that I was using for this was a 7327 blend. That's neither here nor there. That's really a preference thing. But we don't want to waste. I'm going to take some of that fat and I added this a little bit of beef stock. We really want to get as much flavor into all of this as possible, especially since we're not making our own marinara this go around. We want it to be super sexy. So we're going to hit it with the Trinity, a little salt, a little pepper, and a little of garlic. Garlic. So delicious. Get it blended in really, really nice. I also waited until the very end to season the beef because I was doing so much of it. I would hate to try to season each batch that I was doing just because we want it to be consistently seasoned through and through. Alright, so we're getting everything together. You can see there I am seasoning that beef up. Trying to get it super sexy for the taste buds because we want to delight with every layer. So no matter where your fork hits, you're going to get something delicious. Got our pans here because remember we're doing this bulk. These are going to be going away. I always spray my pan a little vegetable oil, but that's just me. So we're using some pre-made dry lasagna sheets because they fit really nicely and it's going to save us a little bit of time. This is going to play into your cooking time, right? You don't have to pre-cook those sheets, but you're going to want to make sure that they are completely covered. So I'm going to be covering them with the ricotta cheese mixture, and then of course we're going to have our marinara that's going in there, and then our beef is going to release a little more juice as well. But it's going to add a little bit of cook time if you're going to use those dry. If you cook them off, per the instructions on the box, then obviously you're going to shave quite a bit of time off of your cook time. But you absolutely don't have to cook those noodles. And of course, if you make your own, then the time should be even faster, honestly. So what I like to do is I take a spoon or a spatula and I like to spread a little on each one. If I'm going for a super thick layer, I will actually use a piping bag. It is a lot more time consuming, but I just feel like I get a better showing of the product and execution of what I'm trying to accomplish, which is that nice, impressive layer of cheese. So as you see, I had sauced the bottom because we want to definitely make sure that these noodles are saturated in the sauces and whatnot that are going in. And at this point, it's just build, spread, repeat, right? So got our cheese layer down, go in with my ground beef. Remember that I mixed in the sauteed mushrooms and the onions. I sauteed those in the drippings that were left over from the ground beef as well, trying to, again, get all the flavor that we can. Did I fail to mention, we season that with a little bit of Italian as well, the ground beef. I do apologize. Now we get the beef down, and you're going to have to let your beef cool down if you're going in straight hot for this, because like I said, this is going somewhere else. But if you're going to go right into the oven afterwards, then by all means, go right at it. Alright, so some shredded mozzarella. It's a low moisture mozzarella. It's the type that you get on your pizza. It's got a really, really nice melting point and holds together quite well for us. Now once I had this built, because I didn't cook one the same day, I ended up cooking it at 375 for about an hour, about 45 minutes to an hour. Then I allowed it to rest for about 10 minutes before I began to cut it. You want to let some of that cheese cool and set up so that you don't lose the layers as you're trying to get it out of the pan. So again, it's going to really depend on what type of noodle that you're using. So remember, we're going with dry noodles. We're going to go a little heavy on our sauce and our cheeses, and then I bake that at 375. I covered it. Let me make sure I put that out. I covered it pretty much all the way till it was done, and then I uncovered it for like the last 5 to 10 minutes to let the top layer of the cheese get nice and brown for me. So it's 375 for an hour. And that's really it. That's how we do it out there in the world, at least on this side of the water. I'm sure I'm offending quite a few people in the boot. But I've worked in several of the larger chain restaurantes that serve these types of food. And believe it or not, there is someone in the back doing exactly this and building these things up for you. They don't come in pre-made from somewhere. Someone is paid to do this. And they actually do it a lot faster than I do. Going again, once again with our layers. And, you know, go wild, man. Get a nice, deep 6-inch pan and make a flippin' 13-layer lasagna that weighs 25 pounds. Have fun with it. Play around with the flavor. Especially try out making some of your own fresh pasta sheets and doing some nice flavors in there. Surprise people. Awesome sauce. Now on my last layer, when I typically don't put meat, a lot of the times I won't even put the cheese at first. If I'm going to be storing these, I will actually do cheese later after I've baked it down, and then I'll pop the cheese on and then, you know, put it back in so you have that nice sexy melt. If you're going to have your cheese on that top layer like I did when I cooked this, make sure if you're putting the tin lid back on, just go ahead and spray it down with your pan spray with a little oil. Or, you know, be a big back and rub it down with butter. So that way it doesn't melty and steal all your cheese off the top of your lasagna. But that's it. Super easy, right? Let me know how yours turns out. Drop us some likes, some comments. Let me know what you guys want to see. Do you want to see that marinara? We really do appreciate you guys coming in and checking this out. Our hope is to just share a little bit of good food with you. Thank you again for stopping by. See you on the next one.